This is AM Agenda. With me, Liberal MP Josh Frydenberg and Labor's Parliamentary Secretary for Broadband and Parliamentary Secretary to the Prime Minister, Ed Husic. Ed Husic, I want to ask you about the report on the broadband network in the Australian today. Suggestions that the cost could soar past $60 billion, that contractors are demanding to be paid 40% more to do further work, more difficult work as the rollout continues. What's your response to that?
So, Kieran, these contracts had been negotiated between NBN Co and the lead contractors, and they had been designed to both achieve the rollout and ensure we get value for money, and they were entered into by the contractors. And a lot of this continuing negotiation will remain a matter between NBN Co and the contractors themselves. We're not into the business of basically coming over the top and rewriting terms and conditions. The figures that have been bandied around today, I mean, it's like the opposition basically had someone write a figure on a post-it note, stick it on Malcolm Turnbull's forehead, and then Malcolm had to guess what number it might be that they'll go with today for the blowout. But the fact of the matter is, even though it's claimed Malcolm's invented the internet, he's not the commercial negotiator for these contractors, and will ensure that the commercial negotiations continue and that we ultimately roll out a network that to 93% of homes will reach them via fibre, and then the remaining 7% via wireless and via satellite, and ensure that we can bump up our position on the world scale about broadband penetration, which this week's been revealed at the tail end of last year at number 18. And we need to do way better and ensure that our economy can compete into the future.
So you reject the notion that contractors are seeking upward revisions for their payments of 20 to 40%, as reported by the Australian today?
Shock horror, contractors want to always get more money out of a contract. I mean, that will always, regardless of what contract, Kieran, you're in, contractors will always want to do that. They've got a responsibility to shareholders and owners to get the best value for money, and we've had a process in place where NBN Co has negotiated with these contractors to ensure we can get the job done and do it with the best value for money. And it is something that we are determined to ensure is delivered on time, on budget, and delivers something that will also ensure that our economy is best placed into the future and that we don't have a second-rate option as is being peddled by others in this debate.
If contracts, many of these signed by the time of the election, Josh Frydenberg, you're going to be bound by them anyway, aren't you?
Oh, we certainly will keep contracts, but let's just go through what a failure, what a disaster the NBN has been. I mean, firstly, only 2% of households 4 years on have been connected. Secondly, you've got the CEO announcing his resignation and the minister responsible for this, Stephen Conroy, being sacked by Kevin Rudd. Thirdly, you've got a blowout in the costs, heading quickly towards $94 billion.
That's wrong.
Now, this is no surprise. This is no surprise when there was no cost-benefit analysis done to start with. You did not do your numbers. Again, it's very illustrative, Kieran, of what Kevin Rudd's about. All announcement and no delivery. He can't actually implement anything. And I just think it's been a real disaster, this NBN. We promise an alternative policy which will deliver faster and more cost-effective broadband sooner than you'll ever get under Labor.
Sorry, Josh, are you saying that your fibre to the node proposal will deliver faster speeds than ours?
Sure, we're going to have fibre to the premises when it's new premises, when it's educational hubs, when it's business precincts. But 75% of the cost of your NBN is digging up those last few hundred metres from the node to the premises. Now that's clearly a massive blowout, and it doesn't make sense for the Australian people to incur that expense.
We might be on the other side of the political fence, but let's not. I really don't want you to make a mistake. Your proposal will not deliver the same speeds as what we're offering. It will not, by the end of this year, Kieran, we'll be able to offer not only 100 megabits per second, but we'll be able to go up to a gig. The other side of politics won't be able to do that with copper, and they know it, and they shouldn't put Josh in a position where he's flogging a dead horse.
Ed, we've only got a minute left. I do want to get your thoughts on this report in the Financial Reviewer on the economic statement that Treasurer Bowen's going to make. Another $6 billion, apparently, in revenue shortfall from the May budget estimates. It just seems like an ever-increasing budget hole that the government's got to fill.
So first thing is that the Treasurer will deliver an economic statement, just like as has been done in elections previous, that will outline where we're at economically and help us better for all sides of politics to frame their policies accordingly. I'm not going to comment on figures that are derived off the back of a chocolate wheel and just spun around and see what we land on. We're going to wait until the actual figures are brought out themselves. But we have had, a tough economic climate overall, and in spite of that, OECD, IMF both giving us the tick. We've got 3 ratings agencies that are giving us AAA ratings and saying that we're on track with the way that we're performing economically. So I think we should go with that.
All right. Josh, just quickly, your response. We've got to go shortly.
Well, the last Labor budget surplus was 1989. We may have to wait to 2089 to see the next one because these guys can't manage the economy.
And the young prince might be king by then as well. Josh, Ed, thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it. We'll take a quick break on AM Agenda, and when we return, I'm going to be speaking to Amnesty International's refugee spokesman, Dr. Graham Thom. So stay with us.